Okay, right at the top, the big talking point tonight. Modi in, Advani out. Can Modi's brand of politics win BJP the 2014 elections? That's the big question that we're raising tonight on India at 9. Joining me now, Piyush Goyal, Member of Parliament and Treasurer of the BJP and someone close to Mr. Advani also over the years. Amiben Yagnik, the spokesperson of the Congress in Gujarat. Yogendra Yadav, Member of the Aam Aadmi Party and a Senior Fellow at CSDS. Swapan Dasgupta, Senior Journalist, columnist and someone who's tracked the BJP and has been closely identified at times with it in the past. And N. Ram, former Editor-in-Chief of The Hindu. Appreciate all of you joining us on India at 9 tonight on our big talking point. Piyush Goyal, is this a day of celebration for the BJP, or has that victory feeling, the feeling of celebration, been soured by Mr. Advani's rebellion?
In fact, it's a day of celebration for India that we have matured as a democracy. We finally have in India processes where different viewpoints within political parties can be heard. We don't have to depend on family rules and families going from generation to generation. We have a party which throws up leaders from the grassroots. We have a party where even a Piyush Goyal from the grassroots can aspire to become a member of parliament and maybe more. That is the strength of this BJP
Piyush Goyal,
decision, and I think it's a victory for democracy.
You didn't answer my question. Within a few minutes of Mr. Modi being anointed, Mr. L.K. Advani writes a letter saying he's disappointed. Does that cast any shadow on Mr. Modi, or do you believe Mr. Advani is isolated and possibly could even leave the party now?
Well, I cannot comment on very senior leaders, but I can tell you it's a day of celebration, not only in the BJP, which certainly is in celebration mode. Every worker, every leader of the party is delighted, solidly behind Mr. Modi as Prime Ministerial candidate. He's the person the nation is awaiting to get rid of the Congress, get rid of the misgovernance, the corruption-ridden Congress from power in Delhi, and finally bring to India some visionary leadership. Okay. An honest leader, a leader who looks at development, doesn't divide India into parts, but in fact believes that all of India needs to be developed, that he will work for the 120 crore Indians and not divide the India that the other parties are trying to do into religion, into caste, into language, into state. We want a one India, and for that we have given Mr. Modi to the nation.
You've given Mr. Modi to the nation, not just to the BJP party, but to the nation. Swapan Dasgupta, you're listening to what Piyush Goyal is saying. Is this the view you believe of every BJP leader, and to that extent, do you believe Mr. Advani particularly has pushed himself into irrelevance, or has the BJP and the Sangh combined to push Mr. Advani to the margins? Do you believe that a new era has emerged in the BJP, the era of Narendra Modi, and Advani is the past now?
I certainly do believe that this is a new era, this is a new chapter in the BJP, a chapter which its cadres at least look forward to great deal of optimism. I think sometimes in looking at the dissenting voice of Mr. Advani, yes, we tend to forget that a conclusive agreement does not necessarily have to be equated with unanimity. What we saw in the BJP was a conclusive decision, and a decision which I think is very unique if you look at it purely in terms of political analysis, is that Narendra Modi's ascendancy to the top job in the BJP, for all practical purposes, the BJP is going to be defined in the next elections as Narendra Modi, didn't happen because of the machinations of a committee. It happened because there was a groundswell of support from below, yes, which actually brushed aside a lot of obstacles which people imagined would be the natural barriers to Narendra Modi ever getting there. So in terms of pure mobilization, I think this is a very unique feature, whereby a grassroots democracy within, yes, the BJP has actually triumphed. I think it would be interesting if you, for example, yes, take Sushil Modi, who earlier had voiced certain misgivings about Narendra Modi, yes, but his conclusion after an exhaustive tour of Bihar said that, look, the voice from the grassroots is so loud and so categorical,
Yes.
that it prompts me to the conclusion that the BJP has to declare this person. So I think in terms of mobilization, in terms of that, so it marks a new way in which democracy has unfolded within a political party, and I think in a larger sense that's very encouraging, because after all we are in the realms of electoral democracy.
Both Swapan and Piyush, both of you are not answering my central question also, or at least a supplementary question that is,
I think I'll tell you that.
a footnote?
Mr. Advani
Has he been
is
pushed?
a footnote.
Mr. Advani is a footnote now.
I think he is a footnote, and unfortunately and very regrettably I have to say, a rather petulant footnote.
Mr. Advani is a petulant footnote, says Swapan Dasgupta. N. Ram, as someone who's known Mr. Advani for years, should the patriarch have seen the writing on the wall? Did he fight the wrong battle at the wrong time, fail to realize the generational change or the groundswell of support that Piyush Goyal and Swapan Dasgupta seem to suggest existed within the BJP for Narendra Modi?
Rajdeep, let me venture to put forward the proposition that Advaniji has put forward the right case at the right time. Never mind that you're swimming against a strong current within the party.
Yes.
But I think he sees a little further than the others and sees what's ahead and also what's in store during the run-up to the election. A very, very controversial and divisive figure. Not one who's going to get allies easily on the side of the BJP in an alliance. Yes. B, all fire will be directed at Mr. Modi and 2002 and the rest of it. They're also doing it in Uttar Pradesh today, and that will divert attention from what the BJP should be campaigning on, according to Mr. Advani. I'm reading into his rebellion or his rejection of this, the following messages. So it's my own interpretation of it, and that is, instead of focusing on the price rise, unemployment, corruption on an unprecedented scale haunting this government, you're now going to make Mr. Modi the issue. No doubt he has momentum, no doubt your own poll has shown among all the top leaders he gets the maximum, but is that enough? Where will it take them? And what will happen in the very unlikely event of the BJP getting the numbers so that they could then get the allies? Because I've done the exercise about the numbers, but we'll come to that. So I think Mr. Advani is absolutely right, and my respect for him has gone up, although I disagree with
can I get Swapan to respond to what you're saying?
Ideology, his outlook.
Can I get Swapan to respond? Swapan, respond to what you're hearing from N. Ram. He seems to be suggesting that Advani has raised the right issue at the right time, that Narendra Modi is a polarizing figure, that Narendra Modi is unsuited for coalition politics. Respond to that.
I think Mr. Ram is right in saying that certainly Narendra Modi is going to be an issue in this election, because this election is going to be a quasi-presidential one. It's going to be quasi-presidential because for the first time there's going to be a contest between two rival claimants. Let me tell you, in the past we've often had referendums on one particular leader. Now we are going to have a contest. Now secondly,
who are the two claimants? Who are the two claimants? Let's be clear.
I believe that in the end, circumstances will propel the Congress to nominate, at least signal quite categorically that Rahul Gandhi is their face for 2014. And I think this contrast is definitely healthy. It's going to be to the advantage of Mr. Modi. As to the point of the other issues which you're talking about, I think it's very, very clear in this case. And this has been clear in the heats. I wouldn't say the election campaign has really begun. What we've seen are the heats. In the heats, we've seen that Modi has focused primarily on precisely the issues which Mr. Ram is talking about. Now the detractors of Mr. Modi are going to harp on only one thing and one thing alone, which is that he is, they're going to harp on identity politics.
Okay,
and they're going to harp on the fact that he is supposed to be a bit of an autocrat. Translated in normal phrase, in today's India, that is going to mean that here is a man who is a decisive leader. Now, every election has a context.
Yes.
And today's election is also not only going to be defined by the context of the UPA's performance over the past 10 years, it's also going to be defined in terms of the type of leadership India wants to get ahead. India wants, if it wants to unleash its energy and potential.
Yes.
And I think, given this context,
Yes.
I think a disproportionate focus on Narendra Modi is not necessarily going to do the BJP any damage. As far as the coalition issue is concerned, I think if the Modi campaign picks up momentum, you will see, and already you've seen individual defections from
Yes.
various parties. You've seen a clutch of defectors today from various parties in Bihar coming into the BJP. I've talked to various MPs in these smaller parties. They are already looking with keen interest to see what sort of momentum Modi generates.
Okay, hold on.
If the momentum is encouraging, they will jump.
Okay,
If it's not, we'll have a fractured parliament. That's democracy.
You've set the terms of the debate. Let me take that to Amiben Yagnik of the Congress. Amiben Yagnik, is the next election, whether we like it or not, after what has happened today, going to be Rahul versus Modi? What the BJP has done will now force you to tell us who is your prime ministerial candidate. And that is why the election will become, in the words of Swapan Dasgupta, a presidential style election, a referendum on who is the leader that India wants. The same Modi that you call authoritarian will be seen by the BJP and its supporters as decisive.
Rajdeep,
Yes.
I think today you have called all of us to speak on what the BJP has achieved today,
Yes.
not on who is going to be the next candidate in another party.
No,
so we may not talk about that, and I may not answer
how are you going to fight
I may
Modi?
not answer to Swapan Dasgupta.
You've got to tell me
No,
how
that
are you
is
going
true,
to
but
fight
I do not
Modi?
want to come into. You are asking me about something which is raised by a panelist. This is not the occasion to talk about it. Of course, today is the moment of the BJP, but I would not say it's the BJP's day. It is the RSS day. This incident has shown to the country that RSS has become successful in pushing its agenda through the BJP, and BJP has practically become non-existent because the patriarch is out. And I find, if I'm as a Congress Gujarat spokesperson,
Yes.
then we have seen this in Gujarat, what has happened to Keshubhai. Keshubhai was a patriarch there. He was running the party. He had won the election, and Keshubhai was out. So was Sureshbhai Mehta. So was Sanjay Joshi. So this is the message that has been given to the country. I am not a person to speak about any
No,
party
what is the
here,
message?
but
No,
the
no,
day
be
is
clear.
of RSS
What is
and
the
not
message?
of BJP.
What is the message that the RSS runs the BJP? Is the message just okay? That's the message. Piyush Goyal.
Obviously, that is what the RSS says, that it's a cultural organization,
Yes.
but it has pushed its agenda through Mr. So-and-so, and it is now the BJP candidate. But where is BJP?
Piyush Goyal,
BJP
respond.
is not here.
Piyush
so
Goyal,
who am I to
Amiben-
speak on that?
When you made your point, Piyush Goyal, respond. Is this today the rise of Narendra Modi effectively the reflection of the dominance of the RSS? The RSS wants to bring back Hindutva agenda. They've done it through Modi, and that's what is the argument that the Congress will continue to make. They don't want to address the Rahul question that I've asked them. This is the question they want to target you on today.
Rahul, first of all, with due respect to the other panelists,
Yes.
I think they do not have a candidate. We
Yes.
don't even know whether they have somebody to project. Swapan may suggest that Rahul will be the candidate.
Yes.
My personal take is Rahul has neither got any track record,
Yes.
nor does he have the capacity to be a prime ministerial candidate.
Yes.
We have heard him in one speech in CII,
Yes.
where he has derided everything his family and his party did in the last 70 years.
Yes.
So other than saying that his party, and largely led by his own family and his right from his great-grandfather's time, is responsible for the mess India is in today, we heard nothing. We don't know what he stands for.
Yes.
We don't know what his views are on education, on health, on poverty reduction. He says he has no dreams. He says he has no plan. He has nothing to offer the people except giving
So you
power
will
to
make
the
this election
people.
about Modi versus
He says
Rahul?
he has only,
or do you
he
want
can
to...
only give rights.
Is this
I
election
think
about...
this election is
Rajdeep.
clearly now,
Yes.
about giving India a
Yes.
strong, decisive
Rajdeep.
leadership.
1 minute, ma'am.
It is going to be an election where the BJP-led NDA is going to look for an absolute majority so we can offer to the people of India a strong and stable government. We can offer to the people of India unity, and we will not divide India into the different segments
How do you respond to what Amiben Yagnik says? This is the RSS agenda. Modi is being used to push an RSS agenda.
Never talked of Hindutva.
Yes.
RSS has only believed in good governance, in honest governance.
RSS has never talked of Hindutva. Come on, Piyush Goyal.
RSS
it is neither it is a cultural organization pushing forward his agenda.
It is the Congress agenda to divide the nation and to scare the minorities. Mr. Modi has never tried to do that.
Yes.
Everyone knows who is doing that.
He worked for 6 crore Gujaratis. When he will work in India, he will work for 120 crore Indians.
Okay.
This is the Congress and the left and so-called secular and liberal agenda. They can stick to that. We are going to the people on the development agenda. We are going to people with a track record of Mr. Modi, and we will get rid of this corrupt government of misgovernance, government of scams, government which has brought India to this depth of low growth, joblessness, and shame in the whole world.
Can I bring Yogendra Yadav in? Yogendra Yadav, at this moment, you're hearing the the major political sides. You represent, in a sense, a third force through the Aam Aadmi, one of the many third forces emerging in Indian politics. Are the terms of the elections going to change now that Mr. Modi has officially been made the BJP candidate, as N. Ram seemed to suggest on the program? Will it move away from the UPA's 9 years in power, price rise, corruption? Will it move, therefore, to Modi's personality? Will people like yourself bring in 2002 and suggest that Modi needs to answer questions still on 2002? Does Modi become the issue now?
Ransi, what we have witnessed today is that what was inevitable has now become official. It was inevitable because of a political vacuum inside the BJP and outside the BJP. Here was a party that lay in shambles, a party which had no sense of direction. And in the overall polity outside the BJP, there is a vacuum too. There is a complete listlessness in mainstream politics. And if anyone walks in who looks like decisive, who looks like effective, who is honest in that limited sense in which Mr. Manmohan Singh is also honest, then there is a certain charm to it. Yes, he walks in. Yes, he would change something. Yes, he would bring short-term gains to the BJP. And that is something that we must admit straight away. The real big question is whether this is a good development for the country, whether Mr. Narendra Modi is the kind of person who would deepen the process of democracy. I have always maintained in a straightforward way, without mincing my words, that Mr. Narendra Modi represents one of the biggest challenges to the idea of India. Now, that should not be hidden under these day-to-day calculations.
No, what is this idea of India? Yogendra, what is this idea of India? What is this threat to the idea of India that Narendra Modi represents in your view? Let's be clear. Is this the fact that you believe also that Narendra Modi is a social polarizer? And is that the baggage of 2002 that Narendra Modi will have to carry for life?
Not just that, Rajdeep. Narendra Modi represents the intersection of 3 deficits that we have in our democratic imagination in the country. First is a deficit of democracy. Mr. Narendra Modi represents, let us say, sub-democratic ways of functioning. You could call it strong leadership. You could call it authoritarian straight away.
Yes.
Second, Mr. Modi represents a deficit of development, which is to say an imagination about development which is only about growth numbers and not for what it means to the people, not about justice and equality. And third, he represents a deficit in the imagination of nation, of the plurality and diversity of this country, which he simply does not seem to respect. And he's not the only one who does one of these things. What is unique about him is that he represents the intersection of all these 3. To my mind, these 3 things, the idea of democracy, the idea of a development, the idea of plural nation, these 3 represent the idea of India. And in that sense, Mr. Narendra Modi represents the negation of the idea of India.
Shobhan Dasgupta, respond to that. Narendra Modi is a negation of the idea of India. He's not a leader for a pluralistic, diverse India.
You know, I'll take up firstly to a point which I have often made to Yogendra, which is that there is not a single idea of India, there are various ideas of India. And there will always be various ideas of India which will be competing with each other for supremacy, for preeminence.
Yes.
Now, the very points which Yogendra talks about as deficits,
Yes.
now let me look upon it in some other way. Narendra Modi
Yes.
stands for development.
Yes.
He stands for growth. He stands for a decisive leadership. And he stands for a unity of India. These are the very facets which to Yogendra's idea of India are deficits. It's a very strange world, because really what he sees as liabilities,
Yes.
I look upon it in a complete different way. What he talks about, the fact that he talks about growth, I look upon it that Narendra Modi is not there to perpetuate poverty. He's there to unleash the energies of India. He's there to realize the fact that we have underutilized our potential. When Yogendra talks about Narendra Modi and his scant respect for pluralism, I would look upon it as, here is a man who does not talk about Hindus and Muslims.
Right.
Here is a man who talks about a composite nationhood, who doesn't talk about a fragmented nationality. So it really depends on which idea of India you're talking about. And I'm glad these issues are being brought about, because ultimately
Yes.
an election is not merely a beauty contest. It's also when serious issues like this are debated and talked about. And I'm glad to that extent, these issues are going to
Yogendra,
be
you want
brought
to
out
quickly
in
respond?
the public encounters.
Yogendra, you want to quickly
Yeah.
respond to Swapan, and then I'll go to Enram. Quick response.
I do. Allow me to say what a pleasure it is to disagree with Swapan. And I've always pointed out to him, yes, it is only one of the ideas of India. I agree with him. But it so happens that this is the idea of India enshrined in the Constitution of India, in the preamble to the Indian Constitution. The idea of unity, which is majoritarian, is not the idea of India. The idea of growth, which is jobless, which gets you certain positions in global market but does not do anything for welfare and justice of India, is not the idea of India. And democracy, which is effective, where one leader decides everything, is not the idea of democracy enshrined in the Indian Constitution. It is not the idea of Swaraj. So yes, I'm wedded to the one idea of India in the preamble to Indian Constitution.
These are two clear different views, which is why Modi is such a fascinating character in Indian politics, representing two very different views in a sense. Swapan Dasgupta, Yogendra Yadav, but Enram, step in, because many will say that Modi's critics, people like you in particular, will see him only through the prism of 2002. Swapan Dasgupta says see him through the prism of what he calls growth, development, decisive leadership, that there is more to Narendra Modi than just 2004. Than 2002, you cannot imprison him in that image forever. How do you respond to that?
Yes, thanks Rajdeep, because I am not one of those who sees him only, who's obsessed with that issue alone.
Yes.
That issue was, I think, very important, very significant, horrifying, but it's Hindu majoritarianism. And whatever they claim now, seeing minorities as second-class citizens in a political sense, because you assert this majoritarian ideology, it's not just Mr. Modi, that's the BJP and all its fellow travelers. That's their ideology, which I personally totally reject as being antagonistic to everything that we should be. That's very clear. Having said that,
yes,
I think we have to be objective and look at it in terms of what is right and wrong, and I think that it is clearly in the wrong. It's not just Mr. Modi. Mr. Advani also bears a heavy responsibility for what happened in Gujarat in 2002, because it is well known that Prime Minister Vajpayee at that time had a particular decision in mind, and that was blocked. And even that gesture of asking Mr. Modi to step aside after this horrifying genocidal pogrom against Muslims took place, I think that was totally wrong.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Sorry to interrupt. Are you saying that makes him unfit to be the Prime Minister of the country? Because then the BJP will retort and say Rajiv Gandhi was unfit to be Prime Minister in 1984-85 because of what happened in Delhi. I mean, are we saying, as I come back to it, will Narendra Modi be seen only through the prism of the 2002 riots? 11 years later, is this country willing to see him beyond that? Should we be looking at the fact, why is Modi attracting, particularly many believe, first-time voters? Is it because of the weakness of the Congress? Or is it because India has changed 11 years later? Is there a demographic shift?
I think it's a very complex phenomenon, and I do not say we should judge Mr. Modi's qualifications, political qualifications, to be what he has been anointed to be today,
yes,
merely by that. But what I'm saying is,
yes,
having, that was profoundly wrong, but let's look beyond that. What is the consequence of that? Internationally, we know what the consequence is, but nationally,
yes,
the allies have a huge problem. And if you have the time, Rajdeep, I'll just cite a few numbers now or a little later,
yes,
because all of us have been doing this exercise. I'm sure Yogen has, everyone
yes,
here. But let's look at the numbers. Will the BJP led by Mr. Modi,
yes,
Chief Minister Modi, is it going to get something that the Congress got last time in 2009, which
yes,
is now 206? Are they going to get 140, 150, 160? So where are the numbers going to come from as a result of the definition of Mr. Modi for what it is?
You're saying basically Narendra Modi will not get the numbers to have that 272 figure in your view, and therefore cannot become the leader of a majority government. Piyush Goyal, let me give you a final point before I take my first break. Yes, Piyush Goyal, respond to that. That yes, for all the enthusiasm of your cadres, Narendra Modi has to win India. At the moment, he has won the BJP. You are celebrating as if he's already the Prime Minister of India. He's not yet the Prime Minister of India. He's only the Prime Minister candidate of the BJP. I think, the gentle warning that Ram is giving you. Respond to that before I take a break.
Well, Mr. Ram is entitled to his arithmetical calculations.
Yes.
And he's entitled to his views about Mr. Modi's development, what Yogendra ji also said.
Yes.
But I think they are missing the point. Mr. Modi in his development has never differentiated between castes and religion. He is one man who has actually brought Gujarat on the platform of unemployment being almost eliminated from that state. It has the best track record in India. I would urge Yogendra to look at these statistics.
Yes.
There is less than 1% unemployment in Gujarat, the best performing state in the country.
Are you saying therefore Modi has moved well beyond 2002? Are you saying Modi has moved well beyond 2002 and can repeat across India what he has done in Gujarat? Because the central question...
100%. He has a purpose, he has a decisive leadership which will take India out of the depth of poverty which the Congress has institutionalized over the years. He's one man who does not divide society.
One man will move India out of the depths of poverty.
Benefit all sections of society. Rajdeep, you all may have your own views and your own agenda.
No, I have no agenda. I have to ask questions. My agenda is to ask questions.
Sections of India may believe.
Yes.
May believe that it's the 2002 where he's responsible, but the SIT has very categorically exonerated him.
Yes.
In fact, the SIT talks about how much effort he did to avoid any riots from spreading, despite the unfortunate incident in Godhra, in which 58 Hindus were burnt alive. The reaction to that could have been much worse. It was because of Mr. Modi's firm hand that he got the army in within 24 hours, something which Rajiv Gandhi did not do.
I don't want to make this a debate about 2002, sadly.
He appealed to all Congress chief ministers to help him. Nobody did, but he, with his purposeful determination, saved lots of people. It could have been much worse. Unfortunately, they cannot go beyond that. They cannot see the good work he has done.
Can I just take a break? I know Ami Ben Yagnik is dying to dive in. I need to take a break.
The people of India are going to give him a chance.
Okay, I'm going to take a break at this point because this is beyond 2002. My big question is, can he win 2014? Will 2002 haunt him is a question, but the question at the end of the day is elections are about arithmetic. Does the arithmetic favor Modi? Can he change the way the BJP approaches the next elections? Back in a moment, we'll be also joined by an NDA ally. Back in a moment.
This is TV 18 and you are watching CNN IBN.
The big question, Modi in, Advani out. Can Modi's brand of politics win the BJP the 2014 elections? That's the big question that we're asking. Joining our panel at the moment is also Rahul Narvekar of the Shiv Sena. I want to get a quick perspective to the big question, Rahul. It's one thing, the momentum, the enthusiasm for Modi within the BJP rank and file, within the Saffron Parivar. But the question, Rahul, is how do you reach 272? Because even Atal Bihari Vajpayee could not cross 182. Can Modi do what even a Vajpayee could not? Take the BJP from 116 to 272. How do you get the numbers? What is this Modi magic that will get you the numbers?
Well, Rajdeep, let me tell you very candidly that under the leadership of Shri Narendra Modi, the NDA is quite certain to get the required numbers.
How?
Having said that, let me also tell you.
Please, no, how? I want to know how. What is Modi's magic?
Yes.
What is Modi's magic mantra?
Yes, let me tell you.
Yes.
Yes, let me tell you. Like you rightly said, Honorable Atalji also,
yes,
before in 99 did not have more than 182 members,
yes,
in Parliament,
yes,
and probably prior to 99,
yes,
the alliance, there was no NDA, but the parties supporting the BJP were Shiv Sena and another two parties. It was
yes,
an alliance of 4 parties.
Yes.
But after 99,
yes,
we had a coalition of 24 parties coming together and forming the government. And let me assure you, in the time to come, you will see a number of other regional parties, a number of other regional players joining this NDA fold, supporting this NDA fold, and in time to come, in 2014, you will see a strong, solid NDA government in place.
The few NDA allies, the only NDA allies at the moment are Akalis and Shiv Sena. Even the JDU has left you. Doesn't that worry you? That how will you get the numbers? Elections are about arithmetic.
Rajdeep, by your own admission, Rajdeep,
yes,
in 1999,
yes,
how many allies were there with the BJP?
So you believe Modi will do a Vajpayee?
After 1999, BJP formed the government with how many allies?
Can I just take that to Swapan Dasgupta? You know, Swapan Dasgupta, any election is won by wooing the so-called floating voter and increasingly by wooing and building coalitions. So far, Mr. Modi has never had to do that in Gujarat. It's been a one-man show. He's been able to win 2/3 majority. Now he will have to build coalitions. Can Modi reinvent himself to reach out to regional parties? I mean, that is the big challenge, isn't it, for Narendra Modi, if he is to actually prove that he can be the BJP's trump card?
You know, Rajdeep,
yes,
an election is made up of two things. There is obviously the arithmetic,
yes,
which Mr. Ram spoke about.
yes,
but the arithmetic in turn is dictated by the chemistry. We have in electoral studies something called a landmark election, whereby occasionally you can generate enough of a different mood, whereby historical data assumes less and less importance. Today I think we are in the cusp of something whereby previous voting patterns may not necessarily be entirely replicated in the coming elections, that we may see a break. It is on that break, that's premised also on the belief that what we are going to see is not merely a parliamentary election, but we are going to see a quasi-presidential election as well. These are some of the assumptions.
Are you saying that Modi will do what even a Vajpayee could not? Are you saying, Swapan, that Modi can do what a Vajpayee cannot?
So.
What is the
I
difference?
believe so.
What is the difference between a Vajpayee of the late 90s and Modi today?
I believe India has changed.
How?
And I think that's the major difference.
How has India changed?
Demographic profile has changed.
Yes.
India has changed because we are talking at the Vajpayee's initial foray in 1996 was at the time when economic change was still in its infancy. Today, economic change has matured to a very large extent. It's a very, very different India which has come about. The strength of urbanization has gone up quite a lot. Education has gone up. People's exposure to the world have gone up. And what is probably most important is that people's aspirations have soared. So I think some of the fatalism which marked the traditional Indian electorate at
Yes.
one time
Yes.
has receded quite substantially. Now, I would concede to you that these are assumptions, and ultimately no one can answer that question till the EVM start producing their
Sure,
results.
sure.
But these are some of the assumptions which I would make.
Can I
in
take
saying that perhaps the extent of
Yes.
the arithmetic obstacle is being exaggerated, and you're not looking sufficiently at the ability of chemistry to circumvent that.
Can I take that to Yogendra Yadav wearing his election analyst hat? Arithmetic is not the only thing that matters, so does chemistry. India has changed. 1.2 crore voters this time will be first time voters between the age of 18 and 23. That's the kind of voter that Modi will target. India has fundamentally changed between 96 and 2013 is what Swapan Das Gupta suggests, which is why he claims Modi can do what even a Vajpayee couldn't.
I think Swapan has a point, but expectedly he gets carried away. I don't think it's going to be anything like a realigning election or a landmark election, because a realigning election would have been, suppose in West Bengal you find it's left versus Trinamool versus BJP, it becomes triangular. Suddenly in Tamil Nadu BJP wins 10 seats. That is an election you would call realigning election. I don't think we are going to witness something of that kind. It is very much within the mode of elections which we've witnessed in the last 20 years. But Swapan has a point in the sense that within the standard mode, BJP has a lot of headroom to gain. And it is possible that Narendra Modi could actually help BJP make short-term gains. BJP has a somewhat limited pool to draw upon. In the last 20 years, BJP's difficulty has been that it has to draw a lot from its somewhat limited pool. Congress can draw less because its pool is larger and can still survive. I think that's exactly what might happen because of the ideological bankruptcy and political complacency of the secular establishment. Mr. Modi would help BJP regain most of the votes that BJP lost to Congress in 2009. That entire class can come back to BJP. And if the kind of communal tension that we saw in Uttar Pradesh rises further, I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. Modi pushes BJP to do better within that. All he needs to do is to have a better draw from within the given standard mold, and he can do so. Seculars could be mistaken in their reading of what Mr. Modi is capable of.
Can I take that to Amiben Yagnik? Ideological bankruptcy. The Congress's ideological bankruptcy is why Modi could do even better perhaps than an Atal Bihari Vajpayee is the argument. Even a Yogendra Yadav today is conceding on this program that the Congress's weakness is becoming Modi's strength. Muzaffarnagar happens, the Congress shows a weak approach. The economy is in a crisis, the Congress is unable to show, is unable to provide answers. Your weakness is becoming Narendra Modi's strength. Will you concede that on this program tonight or not?
Not at all. Can you just imagine these kind of words, bankruptcy in ideology? I think it is somewhere else.
What does the Congress stand for, ma'am? What does the Congress stand for today?
We have given rights to people of this country, whether it is the food security bill or the right to information or the right to education. What are you talking about here? Ideological bankruptcy, I think you can see it where it is very clearly seen today. We are discussing a day today where everything has been given a go by. Personal and self-serving interest has come foremost and everything else has taken a back seat, and we are talking about ideological bankruptcy. Congress, where Swapan Das Gupta is saying India has changed, India has become so great. Who is responsible for that? The UPA government has come with all these kinds of programs and all these kinds of plans which have gone to the grassroots level, to the people of the
Congress represent hope or despair?
Talk about these kind of words.
Narendra Modi claims he represents hope and the Congress represents despair. What's your response to that? Narendra Modi claims he represents hope, Congress represents despair.
That is what is being trumpeted within their party. It is all the hype that is created. I am no one to comment from the Congress party or for any other party. It is a hype that is created in the media. Me. So everyone will have to hear that. And
Piyush
media has
Goyal
already reached everybody these days. So it's a different era. Definitely it's a different era.
Piyush Goyal, respond to that. Narendra Modi is about hype. It's about me. It's about self-love. The man is obsessed with himself and has been able to market himself cleverly. That's the response of the Congress. They haven't answered my question on ideological bankruptcy. They focus on Modi, but please answer.
I did.
Okay, you did. Yeah, you believe you did, but I wasn't maybe
Of
fully
course,
satisfied with your
I told you what have
answer,
been
ma'am.
the achievements of the UPA government.
Okay, your achievement, but
Rajdeep,
Piyush
that
Goyal,
is the
let's be clear. Modi is about
that
himself,
is the
isn't he?
you
Is he
can
about
hear
hype?
from the. No, that is the me you can hear from the Congress.
Yes.
The nation's mood today is reflected in various polls that channels such as yours and others, newspapers, several people have already
But no poll
conducted.
gives you 272.
The mood of the
No
nation.
poll gives you 272
may I,
or remotely close to
Rajdeep,
that.
Give me a minute.
No, you quoted polls, that's why.
Give me a minute.
Yes.
Give me a couple of minutes. I have
Yes.
a lot of things to tell you on various things which 4 other panelists said.
Yes.
First of all, Swapan's point.
Yes.
I would just like to add there's a sentiment also.
Yes.
Look back in history.
Yes.
77, 80, the reaction against the divisive policies of the Janata Party where we could not stay united.
Yes.
84, the unfortunate assassination. 89, corruption came to the fore. Who had imagined VP
Yes.
Singh becoming Prime Minister against the monolith like Congress after defecting from there? And a series of elections. We had not imagined we'd lose in 2004
Yes.
after all the good work we did.
Yes.
So various things in politics. But one important factor you must note, in the last 5 years, every election has given a decisive mandate. Look back at 2009. Even Congress didn't imagine more than 150, 160. We thought we'll get 150, 160. They got 206, we were down to 116. Look at West Bengal. Look at UP. Nobody thought 230 seats to Akhilesh. Look at Jayalalitha, 80% of the seats. Look at Bihar, we got 90% of the seats we fought. JDU got some 78 or 80%. Country today votes decisively for a strong, stable government. Second, the 1.2 crore you mentioned is actually 12 crore voters.
That's right, 12 crores. My apologies. My apologies.
The youth today is
Yes.
enamored by the honest leadership, the visionary leadership, the development-focused leadership, the job-creating leadership, unlike what Yogendra said.
So it's not about hype.
Delhi is
It's not
going
about
to-
hype, it's about
May
you
I
believe
come to
it.
that.
It's about
Delhi-
reality. It's not about hype, it's not a marketing miracle.
Delhi has given the country jobless growth.
Yes.
Gujarat has created jobs. On the
Yes.
contrary, as I said earlier, less than 1% unemployment in Gujarat. The best performing state in the country. Best performing in manufacturing, in agriculture, in tourism, the real areas of jobs.
Yes.
As regards hype, you can see it wherever Mr. Modi goes. You can see it in various polls. You can see it on social media, which today is another new feature. Television has reached 70% of India. Social media is growing at a breakneck speed.
Yes.
I found out today, 1.5 months ago, Facebook had 83 million people on it. Today's figure is 89 million. 6 million added in less than a month. Social media is going to be another defining moment in this election, where the youth in
Okay.
real time comes to know of the scams of the government, the misgovernance, and they look at Modi as the person who can provide good governance, the Suraj that he talked of today, an honest leadership,
Can I
and
get
a
Amiben
development
Yagnik for
focus.
a quick response and then end with Enram? Amiben Yagnik, quick response to what you're hearing from Piyush Goyal.
Yes.
That Modi, in a sense, has been able
Yes,
to
2 points.
tailor his entire persona to a new India. Something that the Congress has failed to do. There's a vacuum out there. Modi is exploiting it.
No.
And he's right.
I
Most
would
Indian
respond
elections in recent
to
times have been
Mr.
decisive.
Goyal on 2 points on Mr. Goyal's
Yes.
content.
Yes.
One, that whatever he's saying, their best, Gujarat is the best. Gujarat is 7th, 8th, 9th, 15th on social indicators. Let us have the table in front of us before we make such statements or sweeping statements on the television. And the second, how many are fake accounts on the Facebook? Do you know the number? How many fake accounts have been created? And everyone knows
Well,
Yes.
I
how
think
these
that's the
how
best
fake
argument
accounts are
they can
coming and
come
what
up
is the
with.
source? Where is the source in Ahmedabad?
Okay,
Well,
just a minute.
I
You know,
think,
just a
Amiben, you
minute.
need a little education on what fake accounts are.
Ma'am,
It may be a good idea for you to talk to
Piyush Goyal,
the
let's not
experts
make
who
this a
do the
tutu, ma'am.
analysis.
Piyush,
No,
go
it
to-
is all over
No,
the
no,
net.
I mean,
Piyush Goyal,
I
no,
think
no,
since
Amiben
I'm
Yagnik,
handling social
Amiben,
media, I'm just pointing out to her,
Amiben Yagnik, let's
she
step
needs a
back.
little education on
Can I
social
bring
media.
my friend Enram into it? Mr. Ram, just step back. At the moment, you know, the bigger question is Modi someone who has been underestimated And as is now being suggested by Swapan, even Yogendra conceding that maybe India is changing. Election results can be a little more decisive sometimes than we believe. And Modi has been clever enough to tap into a vacuum which the Congress has left behind. The weakness, I come back to it, the weakness and seeming ideological bankruptcy of the Congress will strengthen Modi as the weeks go by, or will it only convince the rest of India that Modi is a polarizing figure? Which of the two do you think is more likely to happen?
Yes, Narendra Modi has been seriously underestimated as a national proposition. There's no question about it. But now we are in danger. We are at risk of overestimating him ridiculously, because look at the numbers. Let's be objective about it.
Yes.
If the BJP gets, let's say, 140, 150
yes.
Lok Sabha seats, it'll be virtually impossible for it even to bid to form the government. However, if it gets 170 above, over 190 or 200, it will try. It has a good sporting chance.
Yes.
Then what next? Who will support it?
Yes.
Shiv Sena and Shiromani Akali Dal, definitely. AIADMK, probably.
Yes.
Let's assume that will add up to 45 to 50 seats.
Yes.
TDP, BJD, the Jharkhand groups and the small parties in the northeast, possibly.
Yes.
Weakened JDU and BSP, unlikely.
Yes.
Maybe some independents.
Yes.
Not the left, not Trinamool, not DMK, which will be with the Congress.
Yes.
Not YSR Congress.
Yes.
Not SP, not NCP, not JDS, not RLD, not the National Conference. So where are they going to get the numbers? What are we talking about? After 1991,
yes,
or even before that,
yes,
you know, there's no question of any single party getting a majority.
Okay.
And with Congress with 206. That was the best performance since after Narasimha Rao's.
So you're saying let's not underestimate Modi, but don't overestimate him. Effectively, you're saying don't underestimate Modi, but let's not overestimate his ability to win across the country. That, in a sense, is a sobering thought as we head into the 2014 elections. The battle has only just begun. The bugle has only just been sounded today by the BJP, in a sense. Swapan Dasgupta, Rahul Narvekar, N. Ram, Yogendra Yadav, Amiben Yagnik and Piyush Goyal, a pleasure having you on our talking point tonight. Can Narendra